running out of ideas what to do. So this story time is going to be about the time that my house was raided and I was horrified. So I'm not gonna do so let's do a background story. I was living with my mom and my dad, and I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I remember this day to like a T. Like, I still remember it, and it is like the craziest thing ever. I still have like flashbacks and stupid scary moments where like if I see the SWAT team I get super scared and like my heart races. Like, it's so crazy. Even if I drive by the place that it happened, same thing, like I get petrified. And so anyway, so me and my mom and my dad were living together in a apartment, and it is well known in this town, and the story is well known. If I can find the news article, I will definitely add it to the bio. So let's get started. So I was about, like I said, 4 or 5, and I was home with my dad because my mom worked at the time. I'm sorry about my hair, it's super crazy, I know, but I'm in the growing out process. But anyway, so my mom was at work, and my mom had left me with my dad because I often just stayed with my dad, because why would I not go anywhere else? Unless I went to like my aunt's or something. But this day in particular, I stayed home with my dad. Me and my dad were watching TV when I heard a huge bang. And so I kind of we lived in an apartment, right? So bangs would happen all the time. And there was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, there was 2 stories, and like the building was super long. So maybe like, I don't know, like 10, 20 apartments maybe. I don't know what the exacts were. But anyway, so me and my dad and my mom lived on the 2nd floor, and we had like lived in the front, and there was like across from us were people on the other side. So we heard this big bang, and usually the bangs were just nothing at all, and they were just people coming in and out of the door because the door would slam, or people just like shutting their doors because they were big metal doors, or not metal, but they were like wood or whatever. So we heard this bang, and I kind of asked my dad, I was like, Dad, what's that? And he's like, don't worry about it, it's probably just the door, because like I said, it was probably just the door. And so I went over to play with my toys, and my dad's watching NASCAR because my dad loves NASCAR. And so we were just like sitting there hanging out, and then we hear this loud kabang, and I didn't really think about it. I just thought, you know, maybe someone dropped something or banging on the walls or whatever. So then I go into my room to play with my toys, and I'm just, you know, playing away, playing with my dolls, and I hear this like huge crash, and I hear, get down on the ground, get down on the ground. And I'm just kind of like sitting in my room like horrified. So I'm like just sitting there, and then I hear my dad saying like, hey, don't do that, like, hey, don't do that, my daughter's in here. And so like I kind of like come out of like, my room is at the back, so I like kind of come out into the living room, and I see my dad is handcuffed, and I'm like frozen. I didn't know what to do. I was like, tears were just streaming. Like, all I wanted was my mom. And so like the officer's like, hey sweetie, can you just sit on the couch, we're just gonna have a talk with your dad. And I'm just like, where's my dog? Like, at this time we had my dog, we've had this dog since she was like, I don't know, like, I don't even remember, but we had her my whole life. And so I like remember like looking down at my dog and like pointing to my dog to get on the couch with me, because I was super scared, and she was always my comfort, like when things, you know, were wrong. So we sit on the couch, and they have my dad like on the ground, and they're sitting on top of my dad, and they're handcuffing my dad. And the one officer's like, where's your mom, sweetie? Or, you know, asking me questions like, it's gonna be okay, like is there anyone we can call? And so they called my mom, and my mom was at work. My mom like rushed home. Like, I still remember, it was crazy. She got home really quick, and she like comes in the door, and she sees the commotion. She sees that our door is like halfway off the hinges, like it's like leaning. And I go, mommy, and I'm like crying. And so they take my mom into the hall and like basically tell her, this is a raid, blah blah blah, like we're not meaning to scare you or, you know, anything like that, but I need you to put your hands behind your back while we search your apartment. So my mom had to put her hands behind her back, and they cuffed my mom and sat her beside me just so that she could like comfort me and talk to me and know that everything was okay. But like, she had to be a distance away from my dad, so they couldn't communicate. So they take my dad out into the hall, and then excuse me, they start like going through our apartment, like opening drawers, like looking in there, like going in the bedrooms, looking in there. And then we had an attic, and they would look in there, and like our house was just destroyed. And I just remember like sitting back watching it all happen, and I could hear like the bangs in the other side of like the apartment, and they were doing it to everyone else's house, so like it wasn't just our house. And like I just remember my mom telling me that daddy was gonna go talk to the officers and stuff. So they took my dad down to the station and talked to my dad, and they left. And my mom was so sweet. She comforted me. She told me everything would be okay. We had a friend come over and like hinge our door back on so we could, you know, and it's so crazy because it was so long ago that I still remember every single thing that happened. And like the moment like I see the SWAT team, like my heart races. Like it's so crazy, and it brings back flashbacks because I was so young. It's a very scary situation, and I just want to thank my mom for being there to support me. And the officers were super nice with us, and getting hold of my mom, because I don't know what I would have been done without my mom and my dog. To this day, this building is we had to move out. It is now owned by the police department and all that kind of stuff. But if I can find the news article, I will link it in the description box down below. But that is my story time about when my house got raided. It was super scary, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been running out of content, so that's why I've been just kind of doing story times that are kind of shorter. This one isn't very short, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn your notifications on, and comment down below, as well as check out Connie Marie on my she has her own YouTube channel, or check out Connie Jones in the description box. Or yeah, I'll link her channel as well, and you guys can check her out, and make sure you subscribe to her channel. She is also a Chatham girl, and I'd like you guys to check that out as well. But thank you guys again, and hope you guys enjoyed.